So Angela graciously accepted the appointment, and she is now our treasurer for the Raleigh-Wake chapter. Okay. All right, Ms. Barbara, I am going to turn the meeting over to you for the, as it states on the agenda, for the installation of officers for the Raleigh-Wake chapter.
Are you recording?
Yes, do I need to stop the recording? Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ramley. It is indeed an honor that I was asked to do this task. You all are the first chapter that I have done installation in, so this is like a trial for me, but I really appreciate it. We can say still happy homecoming. Most of us, if we were in Winston, will probably be packing right about now, or well, most of us might have been home by now. But happy homecoming. Our class, yesterday we had the National Alumni meeting, so we do have some updates. And our class had a virtual homecoming tailgate yesterday. It was awesome. We enjoyed it. And I want to thank your then president, and we're going to reinstall her as your new president in a few minutes. Usually when you're doing installation, the members of the body would stand if you know that you are not one of the elected officers. So those that are not an elected officer, we just kind of raise your hand because there's a part that you will have to participate in when I get to it. Okay. Members of the Raleigh-Wake chapter of the WSSU National Alumni Association Incorporated have elected these individuals for the next millennium, demonstrating their confidence in the ability of these individuals to perform the duties of these respective officers. Those other members, will you raise your hand and answer this question if you're not an elected officer? Do you therefore promise to support them and to work for the best interests of the association? You may answer what we do.
We do.
The officers and the members of the Raleigh-Wake chapter of the WSSU National Alumni Association Incorporated are given a great responsibility to further the goals and the purposes of the association. The principal purpose and aim of this organization is to foster and encourage loyalty and cooperation among graduates and former students, to cooperate with the National Alumni Association to encourage and emphasize close relationships with graduates and former students, and to encourage and foster meaningful financial support to the institution, its programs, and student activities. To our new officers, and will you raise your hand to be acknowledged? You all have elected Renee Alexandra as your new president. Let me get all the names on this side. Stanley Harding as your vice president. Secretary Diane Gibbs. Treasurer Angela Hamilton. And parliamentarian Takia Tyson. It is the duty of each of you who has been chosen for a place of leadership in the Raleigh-Wake chapter of the WSSU National Alumni Association Incorporated to work with each other and members for the good of the chapter. As each of you stand with each other, you symbolize that you are united and with each other to serve in the office in which you have been elected. Do you solemnly affirm to discharge the duties of your office to the best of your ability in keeping with the regulations signified by the bylaws?
I do.
I do.
We do.
Presiding officer, please repeat after me. I, and please state your name. I
I, Stanley
Sandy
Hart,
Tyson,
Diane Gibbs.
do promise to perform faithfully
do promise to
promise to
perform
perform
faithfully
faithfully
all duties of the office
the
duties
duties
of
of
the
the
office
office
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected,
and will work with other officers
and
and
will
will
work
work with
with
other officers
to carry out the purpose
to carry out
carry
the
out the
purpose
purpose
and programs
and
and
program
programs
of the Raleigh-Wake chapter of WSSU National Alumni Association Incorporated.
of the Raleigh-Wake
chapter
chapter
of
of
the
the National
WSSU
SU.
National Alumni
Alumni Association Incorporated.
Incorporated.
Thank you. Let us pray. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the duly installed officers of the Raleigh-Wake chapter of the WSSU National Alumni Association for the fiscal year of 2021 to 2022. You are now installed, and may the Lord bless you in your goings and your doings. May the Lord bless you as you do the work, not only for him, but the work of your chapter and for the work of Winston-Salem State University. And the Father, I pray that you bless each one of them in a special way. For we know, dear God, that this is a duty of volunteer service, dear God. And Heavenly Father, I ask you, Lord, that you bless their households, bless their homes. Heavenly Father, I ask you that you bless each one as an individual and bless each one of them collectively as a unit, as a chapter of the WSSU National Alumni Association. Heavenly Father, we ask these things in your name, and in God's name we say, amen.
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 And
Congratulations.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're more than welcome. It was an honor.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I am going to leave the meeting right now. I have another engagement, but if I can, I'll try to come back on a little later.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so Miss Anthony, congratulations, officers. Congratulations, everyone. Miss Anthony has joined us, so we're going to go right ahead and let her, because she has another engagement to get to in about 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and let her give us a recap on the census information, and then we will get into our business. Okay, Miss Anthony, if everyone else, if you mute your systems, and Miss Anthony, if you go, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so very much. It is certainly an honor again to be with you. First and foremost, I have to say thank you to all of you for everything that you have done and continue to do up until the very last day, which will be September 30th, will be the last day that self-response information will be received for this decennial. And so thank you again. I, in fact, was in Winston-Salem yesterday canvassing those tracts that had low response rates in hopes of reminding people that have not responded to date to please do so. And so currently right now, we are sitting at a 63.3 nationwide response rate, 63.3. And as far as our state in North Carolina, we are sitting at a 62.1% self-response rate. Of course, we're hoping and wanting to do even more. Over 70 would be great. The desire was 90%. Even during this time, in this global pandemic, we were wanting and had wanted to do better. But, you know, again, with all that has gone on and is going on, the response is that it's really a surprise that we are where we are with all the things that's been going on. And so with that, we will continue to work up until that last day and trying to get people that have not responded to respond. We are reiterating the importance of the funding that will be distributed and dispersed based upon the count. As we continue to say, the money follows the numbers. Unfortunately, it doesn't follow the need, but it follows the numbers. So we're trying to, just as much as it's important, of course, for everybody to vote, we're wanting everyone to also complete that self-response, that questionnaire. And so that's pretty much where we are. We are still having virtual meetings with our partners. We are still asking our partners to publicize and provide outreach however way they choose to do so. Majority-wise, of course, is via social media. But however way, I'm working with the churches, of course, and Sunday after Sunday and doing their Bible studies, they are still communicating how important it is. And also giving those numbers, those self-response rates, and also reminding people and asking people to please respond if you get a phone call, even though you might have responded. Sometimes you may get a phone call to assess and make sure the information that was received was correct, a form of quality assurance, of course. And they should not be asking, those that will be calling or coming by the home, if you've already responded, would not be asking for personal information such as your social security number and those types of things. That is a no-no. So if anybody gets those type of calls, of course, we're telling them to just hang up, because that is not the census. We are really only after confirming that you have responded, and if you haven't, then asking you the information that's on the questionnaire. And so with that, I don't know if you may have any questions at this time before I go to our next Zoom meeting. Is there any questions that you all may have?
What was the response rate?
Nationwide is 63.3, and for North Carolina, as of Friday, was 62.1. Now it's probably gone up, hopefully a little bit since then, but as of Friday, it was 62.1 for North Carolina.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I have a question. Do you know what it is for Wake County, or did you only know what's for North Carolina?
Oh, yes, Wake County. And thank you so very much for asking. Wake County, we're in the 70, I think it was 71, 72%. So
Okay.
we are like number 2 in the state as far as county goes.
Okay.
And when I was in Winston yesterday, we were there and in different places, different counties and different tracks because we're trying to kind of meet up to Wake County, even Mecklenburg County. All these different counties are working on those tracks that have not received those responses. But Wake County, out the gate, we were doing well, and we didn't stop or slow down the momentum. Even when we reached 60%, we were one of the top 3 counties in the state that reached 60% first. But we still kept that momentum. So right now, last time I saw it, which was, I think it was either yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning, we were 71.8%, 72%, somewhere around there. So we're doing really well.
Thank you.
I have a question, Ms.
Yes,
Anthony.
ma'am.
What if nationally we only reach, say, 79%? What does that do to the census as far as all of the programs? I mean, the numbers are still just predicated on only what we receive? What's received?
Yes, ma'am. It is based upon the numbers that are received. And I would love to say to you, because of COVID-19, that some things may be done differently, but that would be just coming from my heart as far as saying I would like for that to happen. But as I understand, it will still remain the same, that the percentages based upon the locations of the communities and the tracks in those particular counties will determine the funding, the amount of funding that will be dispersed every year for the next 10 years.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. But I'm still holding on. I will say, I'm still holding on that something different would happen. Have I been told that? Absolutely not. But I'm praying and I'm trusting, because even though we are doing a lot better than what was expected, as you pointed out, it will still be a slack. And we don't ever always get 100%. So we knew we weren't going to get that when we started back 2 years ago preparing for this time. But we certainly was hoping that we would reach 90%. And then once everything happened in March and things started to turn and change, it was then said, this is unofficially, but if we reach anywhere from 60 to 65% nationwide, and with all this going on, we will be doing really well. So, and we're almost there, but that still won't speak to all the needs. I mean, we know that.
So what happens to the census? Say some of the reports were made by some of the close to 200,000 that have already passed. What happens? Are they still just counted in the total percentage, even though they are deceased?
I believe they are already still counted. They are still, because they're basing it on the numbers that they received starting April 1st. And even when, I'll give you an example, my father passed on Mother's Day. He was counted in the census because I work for the census, and not only because of that reason, but even more so because of that reason, I contacted the data department and to let them know he was deceased. But yet he was counted, and they informed me at that time that those numbers are already in. And so there will be no change there. So that was a personal example that I can give you based on your question. And thank you for asking that, and all the questions that have come. Thank you for those questions. But I just remembered that. I wanted them to know that he's no longer with us, but they said that his information was already included, and he will be counted in this decennial.
This census, okay.
Yes. Any more questions? Well, I really appreciate this time. I will continue to, as I say, I will continue to work and support all of our partners. We are extremely grateful for everything. I think this is either my second or third time with you, and it is understood and noted all that you all have done. And so again, we say thank you, and you'll be hearing from us. We are also preparing for our thank you campaign. So you'll be receiving some correspondence from us as well for all that you have done and all your support.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms. Anthony. And we know that if there's some more questions that come up, we will go through Ms. Helen or Mrs. Lassiter and get those to you in the event that we have some more questions, and just look for responses that way. So we appreciate you taking these few minutes and talking with us again. So safe travels to your next destination.
Thank you so very much. You all take good care, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so if we look at our agenda, we did the installation of officers. Barbara did give a prayer at the end, so we will just move on down for everyone to begin looking at the minutes. Before we get, well, we'll go ahead and let everyone go ahead and look at the minutes. Chiquita, with this being our first meeting after the minutes have gone, will you run us through Robert's rules the way that to make sure that we're doing everything appropriately and in order as we start going through and approving the items as we move through the agenda?
Okay, not quite sure what you mean by that, but okay.
Well, you know, before we were voting on things that we didn't need to vote on, so we just want to make sure that we're doing it right.
Okay. So in essence, for the minutes, we do not have to vote for their approval. If there are any corrections that need to be made, our Secretary Diane will actually make those corrections in the document itself and present that at the next meeting. But we do not have to approve the minutes.
So Renee and Takita, I might have missed this, but did we have to approve the agenda?
You do not have to, but no, you don't have to. Whatever we need to approve, I believe we put that on the actual agenda. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, I just, I had it on here, Renee, but I can take it off. I had put on there that, that we presented them agenda, and, usually we say we move that it's acceptable. I'll take that off.
So the adoption of the agenda is typically done in situations where you're not meeting regularly. And because we meet once a month, Robert Rules just states that we do not have to adopt the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has everybody had a chance to review their minutes from our last meeting in May? Okay, I'm going to take silence as a yes. Are there any changes that need to be made, any noted changes that need to be made to the agenda? All right. As I hear none, we will move on to our financial report. Angela will be taking care of our financial report. So if you have your financial reports document, if you would, then we'll go on and move to the financial reports. Angela, you're on mute still.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Okay. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. So the financial activity report for May, from May 18, 2020 to June 30th, 2020. Beginning balance as of May 18, 2020 was $5,316.40. We had disbursements to the Red Cross of $125 for the previous year, and to Elijah for the web site, which was $152.93, making a total of disbursements for $277.93, making our checking account balance of $5,038.47. The college prep workshop money is still in the account, which is $181.36. The sports team support account has a balance of $209.91, making our total checking account balance of $5,510.74. And our CD is $1,224.17. If you look at your monthly account for September, everybody with me?
Yes.
So, of course, the first column is what we budgeted for this year, 2020 to 2021. The month to date is our expenditures and or income for this month. So we had, well, I guess I don't need to read all of it, I guess. Or y'all need me to read it? So the middle column is all, the top part is income. It was a total income for the month of $666.40. And if you scroll down to the bottom, sorry about that. The total expenditures was $640, and that included the other expenses, which was national alumni dues that was sent in. Any questions? Concerns? If not, I want to thank Stanley again for his continued support. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have heard the financial report. If there are no questions, concerns, or comments on the financial report, we will move to our correspondence.
So we did receive 2 thank yous. They both came in July. One is from Dr. Latanya Athalion from WSSU. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of WSSU, I want to thank you and all the members of the Raleigh-Wake Alumni Chapter for your recent gift to the WSSU Foundation. Your generosity allows us to support the academic aspirations of so many students. That was for a $1,000 gift, and she has noted $500 for pass-through endowed scholarship and another $500 for pass-through endowed scholarship. We also received a thank you from the American Red Cross. That also came in July 31st. That was from Gail McGovern, the president and CEO of the American Red Cross, thanking us for a generous gift of $125 donation.
Okay. Diane, is that all that's all the correspondence we've received?
That's all we received, other than, we just membership dues.
Okay. Let me add to your correspondence. This is something that came via email yesterday, I believe I got it, or late Friday. And it is coming from the Department of Athletics. And they are going to have a Zoom meeting tomorrow, the 21st at 7 p.m. And so the athletic department will have that Zoom meeting. I will send that email. I'll send that out. I think I may have included it in your document. I'm not sure. You're shaking yes, Stanley? Okay. So it is included. Say again, Diane?
I think it was in there.
It was.
Okay. Okay. So that is the other correspondence that we got outside of what came in the mail. So everyone has that information for that Zoom meeting if they wish to attend. And that's all the additional correspondence that I have.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
can I go back to the financial report just for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Many of you probably are aware that in the past we have voted to approve the financial report. And over the summer, as we were preparing for the parliamentary procedures related to our meetings, we noticed that is not proper unless we're accepting an audit. So that's why you didn't hear Angela make a motion to approve the financial record. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Thank you. Stanley, we're going to move on into the introduction of guests and members. And since we have no guests today, if you would, when you do that, will you just go through and get a roll call of everyone that is here so that Diane can capture that in the meetings for attendance? You're on mute.
I thought I had unmuted. See, I'm getting the hang of it. Thank you, Madam President. So we're going to do a quick roll call since I don't see that we have any new members. So, but we'll go through the roll call. And okay, let me see who's the best way to do this. I have Takita Tyson's present, myself, Stanley Harding, Renee, Alexander Gary Rayfoot, Ms. Helen Harding, Diane Gibbs, Mr. Harry Williams, Daisy Blue, Veretta Van, Angela Hamilton, Monica Money, Jay Haddock, Daryl Dixon, and who's is that Harry? Is that you,
That's
Harry?
me, Harris K.
Oh, okay, Kay Harris. Okay, she's confused me with. she's got some fancy logo name.
I gotta stay cloaked, you gotta stay. I don't want.
Why are you incognito? That's what I want to know.
Actually, I'm on my my work computer, and that's my ID for work is Parker.
Okay. Diane, did you get everybody?
Stanley, if it's okay, can I just, I want to make sure, can I just read them back to you?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, Takita, Stanley, Gary, Helen, Harry Williams, Stacy Blue, Viretta Van, Darrell Dixon, Kay Harris, Monica Money, Angela Hamilton, Diane, and Renee Alexander. Miss anybody?
And Jay Haddock.
Okay.
Jay Haddock.
See, I knew I couldn't.
Do we have anybody else that's on the call that I didn't identify? Okay, hearing none, I turn it back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thank you so much, Stanley. So we're going to go on and move through the agenda, and now we've gotten to the portion to where we're going to go with the committee reports. Each of you should have received a copy of the committee reports. All committee reports were in one document. So as we go through, you're just going to scroll down. Committee chairs, if you've had a chance, if you had a chance to look at these minutes, if you have any questions, we're just going to go down. These are the reports that were turned in at the executive meeting so that we could move through our meetings with not a lot of reading to you, that you had a lot of these documents prior to the meeting today. So the first document in the complete committee report is the audit committee. That is Angela Hamilton as the chair for that audit committee for the audit of 2019-2020. Are there any questions for the audit committee? Stanley?
I have one. Mute. I'm sorry, I have one. Angela, I think you left out no and the discrepancies because there were no discrepancies in the report. I think you. Angela?
Okay, I'll update that. It's just the word no, right?
Yes, correct. Because there were no. Okay. That was all.
I got too many committees, Stanley.
Okay.
Madam Parliamentarian, after each of the committee reports, do we have to vote to approve these reports? Or we just move on?
No, madam, you only if a recommendation is coming from the committee, then that person
Okay.
would then make a motion for us to vote on the recommendation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. So now that we've seen the audit report, if you scroll down, the next report is the Constitution and bylaws. Their report is in there, and they do have some additional documents that were sent in. I'm going to, again, this was, our bylaws committee was headed by Angela for last year, so we're going to go ahead and let her talk about the additional documents that I emailed to you all. And if there's any questions on those.
Renee, I don't see where you at.
Okay.
She on page
So,
2.
I'm on page 2 of the activity report of all committee activity reports. Do you want me to take it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, please, because
Okay.
I don't see that.
So the Constitution and bylaws, they turned in our bylaws to have them updated. Our bylaws were outdated, so those were updated in this past year. But with 2020 being a year of review, it is now time for us to review our Constitution and our bylaws. You all should have gotten a copy of the Constitution and the bylaws. It is now being asked from this committee that you take some time and you go through and you read these bylaws and the changes that you would like to have submitted. There is a form that you would actually, or we're going to get you the form. I need to get you the form that you would actually submit your changes to the bylaws committee on this form. The bylaws committee is asking that you have all your changes into them, which would be sending them to Angela, and she's got her email on this report. You're going to send all of your changes to her on this form, and they need to be into her by December the 1st. At that point, the committee will compile all of the changes, ask you if they have any questions or concerns. They will contact you directly with their questions or concerns about your submission, and then they will come back together and we will see a rough draft of what the changes will be in the bylaws for the Raleigh-Wake chapter. We will spend a good portion of this year actually revising our bylaws and our Constitution so that they can be turned in and be ready for next year, because next year is our submission year. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So you have a copy of your bylaws. If you did not get a copy of the Raleigh-Wake bylaws, please send either myself or Angela or Diane an email so that we can get those bylaws to you. The second part of the bylaws, for you all to know as it relates to bylaws, this is also the time for the national bylaws to be updated. And so you also have the opportunity by December 1st to submit any changes on the national level for the national bylaws. That information was also given to you in the email packet. If you do not have a copy of the national bylaws for submission, then please make sure that you reach out so that we can get those to you. Are there any questions as it relates to the Constitution and bylaws?
There's no question, Renee, but the national, they can also find online, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, the national is available online. What I was going to say that when we send our form out for revisions, is a form for each revision. You can't put every revision on one form. So it has to be one, for every revision has to be a form completed. Every proposed
Thank you for
revision.
clarifying.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Renee, you said those, if you do have some revisions or changes, that form would be sent out to the chapter members, right?
If the chapter members have some changes that they would like to see in the bylaws, they're gonna give, each change is gonna be on one form, and they will take that and send that to the bylaws committee. They would submit their changes to the bylaws committee.
Okay, where do they get the form to do that?
I'm gonna send it to them. We had to make a change to the form. It had the wrong logo on it, and so we'll have to redo the submission form and then send it out.
Okay, that's the part I missed. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question. So how do we handle, I guess this process started last year when Angela was the vice president. And now that Stanley is the vice president and our bylaws state that the chairman for that committee is the vice president, how have we handled that in the past? Not to give any more work to Stanley or take any from Angela, but I'm just looking at our bylaws state that the chairman for that committee is the vice president.
So that's a very good question. So Stanley need to partner and transition that role. Where Angela's probably going to have to, and Kay, as immediate past, you'll have to help me on this. I think Angela now becomes a committee participant and Stanley becomes the chair. Is that correct, Kay?
We never had this issue before.
Right. I believe that's the way, so that we stay within our bylaws. That's what we're gonna have to do. Is Stanley, you will need to become the chair. Angela can still be a part of your committee, but you will take the reins of the bylaws and constitution.
Okay.
Thank you.
The executive committee report, are there any questions as it pertains to the executive committee report? I will let you know on the executive committee report, the SOPs have been signed, the memorandum of agreement has been signed for Southern Region 1. With that being said, we are now responsible for additional financial responsibility to the region, and we are going to be subject to an assessment, a regional assessment. Our regional assessment, our fee for the regional assessment is going to be $75 a year. Well, let me correct that. Let me back up. It's $75 for this year. The assessment is done based upon the number of members. Currently, on our roll, as we closed out our year last year, we had 34 people that were financial, so we were assessed at 34. When we turn in our assessment for our next year, it will be based on the number of financial members we have this year. We are literally being assessed the same way by the regional as we are assessed by the national. It's going to be based upon the number of financial individuals that we have. So we have, we are sitting at a medium chapter, and we will have to pay a $75 assessment fee to the regional.
Renee?
Yes.
I am so sorry, everybody. I got away from the screen and couldn't unmute my mic, and I was hitting the panic button. But you asked a question about you should have seen me. I was scrambling, trying to unmute. But anyway, you were asking about the bylaws change and all that. Yes. Stanley is chairperson now. you know, we talked about the comments that were made to the Raleigh-Wake bylaws anyway, if they were ahead of schedule. Were they ahead of schedule
You mean our,
for Raleigh-Wake, not nationals? Were we ahead of schedule for revision?
this is our revision year.
This is our revision year, but did we make
Yes.
revisions before we set those bylaws in for reporting this year?
We made the corrections that they told us to make. Nothing was revised. We made the corrections that they had asked us to make, as far as maybe changing from chapter to associate, those types of changes that were required, but there were no actual revisions to the bylaws.
Okay, so this is our revision year coming up then.
Yes, we are in our revision year.
So I think you asked about the national bylaws, those questions, those suggestions and recommendations have to be in by December 1.
Yes.
I don't know that we've ever had a drop dead for Raleigh-Wake, but or not. Did we ever have a drop dead?
No, I don't think we had a drop dead. Well, if we made the revision the last time, we did have a drop dead date, because the last time we did a major revision, we had a drop dead date. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just use use the same form that national used, but just make it Raleigh-Wake at the top.
Yes. I
Yes.
would imagine so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, guys. I was here and I heard you,
Yes.
but I couldn't get to you.
We're not going to, with that form, it works, and we're not going to recreate a wheel that's already turning. It would just take too much time. So we're just going to use the same form and change the name.
Right, right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is the executive committee report. Are there any questions on the executive committee report? Your next report is the membership committee.
Actually, everybody, Angela submitted our membership activity report, and we are now full swing into our incentive program. So we would like everybody to pay attention to that and keep up with your points. And the way that we also submitted a copy of the incentive program, just our president sent that out in your forms, just in case people did not have theirs. And, you know, last year we were scratching through, well, that's the finalized one. And it says on there that please, we want everybody, please keep up with your points. The secretary will be keeping up with everybody's, you know, keeping a record or track of everybody's points. Now, every now and then, just so we can make sure that you and I have the same thing and that ours correlate, you can just check in with me, or, you know, if you think, Diane, I want to make sure you have all my points. So people are doing things and we want to make sure that they get credit for that, because we're looking forward to recognizing people at our end of the year celebration for our awards. This is the first year that we've done it. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything to give people kudos and, you know, recognize them for what they're doing. Any questions about our incentive program? In your copy, as you look over it, if you see something that you have a question about, maybe Angela and Stanley and I can kind of talk about that for just a little bit. Okay, well, if you do have questions, you can send those to me or Angela. I think Stanley kind of said he's letting go of that. So me or Angela.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. With no questions on the committee report for that one, we come down. If you have reviewed the scholarship and recruitment committee, at this time, Monica can take any questions that you may have regarding scholarship and recruitment. Okay, no questions on scholarship and recruitment. Hearing none, we'll move down to the Social Action Committee report. If there's any questions or concerns for that, Ms. Helen, if you unmute yourself, Ms. Helen can take questions as it relates to the Social Action Committee report.
Renee. Hello, Renee. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do have one correction on the report. The third bullet, which has promotion of voting, should be census.
It should be what?
Census. Should be the census rather than voting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, Diane, you make that correction.
Okay, I will.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Helen.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Social Action Committee report, there is a question there that came from one of our members. Gary asked what we might be able to do as a chapter for Black Lives Matter.
Who asked that question? Who asked the question?
Gary did. Gary.
Well, that was one of the things that Gary was supposed to be brainstorming about. So I don't know whether he's come up with anything yet or not.
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Okay.
What I'm looking for.
You asking the members. You asking the members. Is that right?
Say again?
Hmm.
Gary, you were asking the members. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
working on something and coming up with somebody to speak on from 4 points of view, from old school, new school, HBCU view on Black Lives Matters and anything biblically. And I'm working on that, and I'll get some speakers. Either we do it during the meeting or offline, or set up a time to do that.
Okay. All right, if there are no questions on the committee reports, you all have your committee reports. I think this format works really well, that you get these reports and have an opportunity to read over them and then have your questions prepared. So we have completed our portion on the committee reports. Are there any concerns, questions, or comments on those? Yes, Ms. Takeda. See me.
I'm sorry.
I said, like y'all can see me, I'm pointing at you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, is it possible to get those reports a little earlier? Because I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, Thursday. Well, when did they come out? Friday? Saturday? It was too late
Friday
for me.
night.
So I was just wondering, is it possible to get them earlier? I don't know how that's going to work, because I know the executive board is that Tuesday, but it was just a lot to review before the meeting. But if it's just me, I'll work on my time management. If everybody else is okay.
I tried to get them out earlier, but all of the documents, I had to get them all in, make sure that they had the right format, save them, PDF them, and then make sure that I had the list to get out. So I had some things that I need to probably look at to try to see to get them out a little earlier. It was just trying to compile all of the documents because I didn't have all of the reports in. So we will definitely, or I will definitely try to do a better job of that next month.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, this is Stanley before Ms. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Helen. Go ahead, Ms. Helen. I'll come after you.
I was just joking. Go ahead, Stan.
No, I was going to say that it was a lot of reports this time, but I don't think it'll be this many reports on a regular basis. Yeah, so I can imagine, because it was a lot for me to try and read with everything that's what's going on. So I understand, but I don't think it'll be as many next time. If that helps.
Ms. Helen?
Okay, going back to the Social Action Committee, particularly regarding the Fuller Elementary project, we would like to get those supplies to the school as soon as possible. So I will try to get with Kimberly and Gary to try to come up with a date that we can meet and where we can meet to get the supplies. But in the meantime, I would encourage everybody to, get the supplies that you like to donate so that you can be ready when we come up with a date.
Okay. And when you all get that date for supply drop-off, will you make sure that you get it to Stanley so he can put it in the newsletter, and then that may give you more, may get you more supplies because it touches a wider base of folks.
Sure.
Miss Helen, I'm sorry, I have a question. When it says, and I'm asking because I don't know much about this, headphones, not earbuds, they do not always fit comfortably on little ears. If you know the brand that we should get, I'll be happy to look for that because I don't know much about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did communicate with the social worker. She said it doesn't matter what brand it is as long as they're for kids.
Ask for a child's then? Ask for a child's?
Yeah. Headphones,
Okay, all right.
Can I add something to that as well? Now, I bought some already, but I think they're talking about the ones that fit over the head.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to the ones that stick in the ear.
Yeah, those are earbuds.
Yeah, there's some inexpensive ones like between $5 and $6 that will work. So just as an FYI, Walmart sell them. So.
Yeah, I bought a pair for my grandson, and they work well. I even use them when I'm walking. So from Walmart, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last thing that I have that's really not part of the committee report, you all should have received a virtual meeting protocol guide. And Takita spent a lot of time putting this together, so we thank her for this, because a lot of our meetings are now probably, well, we're going to be in this format probably until the spring. I don't see us doing anything different for the next 6 months. I'm not even thinking about that. So we know for a minimum of the next 6 months, we're going to be meeting in the same type of format. So we put together this guide to kind of help you as we go through the virtual Zoom meetings, what the responsibilities are for the folks that are here, what your responsibilities are as participants. We've done excellent today, so I wish with all the Zoom meetings I go to, I could send them this guide because this has been perfect today. So I really appreciate it. Please look at this. If there's something that we have missed, by all means, let us know what that something is. If something is not clear, then please, again, let us know what is not clear, what we need to make some more clarification on. But this is the guide that we are going to begin using as this chapter to get us through these meetings. We thought it was very important to have this so that we would have some kind of structure and know what we would be doing. And if you've ever been to some other Zoom meetings, you can tell those that have structure and those that don't. So I think we've had a very structured meeting today. So I'd like to thank Takita for putting this together. And then as chapter members, please look at it, review it. And if you feel like there's something that really should be added, then by all means, please reach out to myself or Takita so that we can look at that and see how it would fit, as long as it stands within our protocol and we're following all of the things that we need to be doing. So just make sure you keep that guide handy. We will be working on creating some housekeeping slides as you first come in, to have some roving slides if we can make that happen, just to give you your general housekeeping rules as you come into the meeting. And as Zoom makes updates and we find out about it, we're definitely going to let you all know if it's going to affect the way we meet. Okay. Are there any questions about that guide? All right. So we had no unfinished business. which is a great way to end the year. We had no unfinished business, so now we're going to move on to our new business, and that is something that Angela has for our new business.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Sorry, I'm about like Kay today. I can't get the mic to work. So I'm a Verizon employee. Verizon has a incentive program for any organization, nonprofit organization, that if 10 employees get together and do a project and raise funds for their nonprofit, then they will match the funds up to $25,000 per year. So I reached out to the people that I know that are Winston-Salem State alumni and Verizon employees here locally, but they can be anywhere. So if anybody knows anybody that's a Verizon employee worldwide, if they'll let me know, we need 10, did I say that? 10 employees to do the project. So if I can get 10 people, we can get, and it can start anytime. Like I said, it's $25,000 per year that they will match, up to $25,000 per year. I've reached out to the National Alumni Association to May, and she was going to put it in the battering ram. The what do you call it?
Archway?
Yeah, she's gonna put it in the archway. I also reached out to the Vice Chancellor of Advancement. I was trying to get names of people so I could get in touch with them. I got one Bible name from there, and she did respond back. They had 2 other names, and neither one of them work for Verizon any longer. So right now, including myself, it's 3 people who are on board and ready to go. So I need another 7. So if anybody knows anyone who works at Verizon or have any contacts outside of Raleigh of alumni who can get the word out to get in contact with me, that would be great. So even if we don't get 25,000 this year, we can get a project going and get some money this year. We can start over again next year.
Angela, there's no minimum that we have to do, right? I mean, we can do as little as can or up to, I know it's up to 25,000.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Even if I go in right now for Verizon, they will match me penny for penny. Well, they call it dollar for dollar. So I can go in and personally do it. So that's how I got the one name, because somebody else had done it from Verizon. That's how I got the one other name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But
Angela,
yeah, I know of 3 other people here, but only 2 of them have responded saying they will be on board. So
Angela, just for FYI, in national meeting yesterday, there were several association announcements, and Verizon with your name was one of those announcements. So it has been pushed out through national.
well, good. I did contact the national president and ask that she do that so that we could hopefully get something. And I also contacted, what's the guy's name y'all told me to contact? I did it.
Gordon Everett.
Gordon.
Yes, I had to leave him a message, but I did reach out to him, and I'm waiting to hear back from him to see if I can find out anything else. I did find out that the university, before, when we put down if we work for a company, they didn't capture that information. It wasn't input into the system. So when they pull those reports, it's not on there. So
Miss Angela, I have a question.
Yes.
Does that also include like people on like, is it just the wireless side or is it the
Nope.
whole company as a whole?
Verizon, anybody. I actually work for Verizon Business.
Okay.
It's Verizon, any portion of Verizon.
Okay.
All right, so if you all have any of that information or you know any Verizon person, Angela is going to be the point of contact. She's the point of contact on the national level as well as our local level. So please, if you have any of those folks, please have them reach out to Angela so that we can make our contribution of raising money for the university. Thank you, Angela. Kay, Takita, Stanley, and I'm not sure who else was there yesterday, actually attended the national meeting. Can you all give us an update of what happened at the national meeting yesterday? Don't all go at one time. Come on, Mr. Vice President.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me get my notes. And hopefully I can read what I wrote because I was scribbling as we were going through on yesterday. But as you said, Takita, Kay, myself, and Jay that I know was there or participated. So they'll be able to fill in anything that I forgot or omitted. So as Madam President said, yesterday was our fall National Alumni Association board meeting that was held via Zoom. Meeting started at 9 a.m. with the Chancellor's hour. And the Chancellor gave us a brief update of what's going on at the university. He talked about Winston-Salem State's ranking. The nursing program is the #1 nursing program. Winston-Salem State is ranked #3 in the HBCU for the best value and by Money Magazine. And number 5 as the best college in America. I may forgot exactly what that was. I know it's best HBCU, and it was something best college in America. He talked about enrollment, that the freshman class this year, with all the pandemic and everything, because there was a lot of uncertainty about what the freshman class would look like. They had 1,007 freshmen enrolled, which is the highest, this the 10-year high. And the graduate enrollment was 480, which was the largest class, graduate school class in history. He also spoke about the university had received $28 million in grants, and this was something something to be mentioned because Winston-Salem State is not a research university, but the fact that that they brought in $28 million in grants is a good thing because that supplements what the appropriations come from the state. He also made reference to that $1 million match that we were all contributing to. And the alumni raised $1,545. No, $1,545,883.52. And that was to be matched. And the campaign total will be $3,091,767.04. So that campaign, that was the total results of what we raised and what the donors put. And he said that that we should be hearing something shortly on who the donors are because they were have been anonymous up to that. So they were impressed by this campaign. So they're gonna it's gonna be disclosed publicly who the donors are. So right now the university is in the last year of the strategic plan that's now in effect, and they're now working on a new strategic plan for the university, and I imagine this one will be 5 years as well. He talked about some of the components of a new strategic plan, which would be value-based, talked about equity, diversity, inclusion, innovation, and creativity, and integrity and ethics. Pretty much saying do the right thing every time. He talked about this new strategic plan will put emphasis on meeting the unique needs of every single student. So they want to design an experience that speak to the challenges that our students face. And there's other components of that as well, but that's currently in progress. Dr. Kervin Graham, who's the Provost and Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, who's also a Kinston native, just so you know, Takeda. He mentioned about the new admission requirements. He said that the UNC system has instituted some new admission requirements, and it now indicates that a student can have a 2.5 GPA or an SAT of 1,010 or ACT of 19. Before, it had to be both, but now it can be one or other. So he said this was the first time he heard of that change being done in the middle of an academic year, but nevertheless, those are the new mission requirements. He also spoke about ways to assist WSSU. Pretty much he mentioned that stay in the know of what's going on at the university so we can be current. So when people ask us about specific stuff, or we can speak to specific stuff that's going on at the university. He said we can, and with this information that we gather, then we can create a broader reach for the university's brands. And he also mentioned that we can contribute our time, talents, and treasure. Of course, the treasure would be the donations. And there, the AD spoke. She gave us some updates on what's going on with some staffing changes there. Let's see. She talked about the spring season will go on. She talked about the spring season. Talked about volleyball and football. I think for the volleyball, football, and she said original spring sports will continue as planned. So they're anticipating volleyball and football will be in the spring. And they also indicated that donor relations, the athletic department had raised $100,000 since July 1 from 193 donors. And they also mentioned, I'm not sure who mentioned this, that the band did get new uniforms. So, so that was all as part of the Chancellor's Hour. Did anybody else have to contribute something that I may have omitted from the Chancellor's Hour?
Well, the Chancellor did mention, you know, as with every one of our meetings that we hold about alumni participation being down, and of course they need at least 20%. I forget what the total number, 28 to 30,000 alumni, and but we're only participating at about, I think that's 7%. Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 7%.
So, you know, even if, the way he said, even if you donated $1, you know, if each one donated $1, look at the amount of monies that could be, you know, raised just, and we have between 28 and 30,000 alumni, according to his report yesterday. So something needs to be done there, whether on the local level as well as the national level with regards to membership. Did you mention Mr., what's his name? Philip Byers, he's the new UNC.
Oh, the liaison.
The liaison, yeah, he's a new person.
Yeah, Philip Byers, he's the UNC Board of Governors liaison
Yeah.
to the university. So
And,
yes.
yeah, that was all I had.
And I just like, I know when they mentioned that 7%, and I know, see, when we give, you know, that 7% is when you give directly to the university. So now when you give, I think when you give with the national puts it in a big lump, and that goes as a big lump. But that doesn't look like, it looks like we've been underrepresented in our alumni giving, but we're giving it through our national, who in turn give it. So you don't get credit for it directly as an individual would give it. So it makes it look like our numbers are lower than they actually are. But
Yeah.
I just like to add that caveat to
Yeah.
the discussion.
And it's very accurate. Yeah.
The other thing that the Provost Graham mentioned was the accreditation that's going to take place in February.
Yeah.
So I think it's February 1st to the 4th.
Yeah. Yeah. They would be on site. Yes.
And Winston, what was that?
They're going to go on site and do the accreditation?
I thought he said virtual visit.
Yeah, it'd be virtual. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Winston is also an early voting site.
Yeah.
Down at Anderson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Takita, when will the accreditation take place?
When in February?
February 1st through the 4th.
Okay.
And pretty much they had to submit a report already, and so that would be, typically they would come on site. So, but this, because of the pandemic, they won't actually be on site. So
They were also talking about how the educational format had to be switched over to online.
Yeah.
And the difficulties that they had to address because we're not really set up for online classes. And so they're working on that, and it seems like they have a very good handle on it. Like it may just become something more permanent for that, what do they call it, outreach student? No, it's the online courses. You know, I forget how many we have and how many base courses we have. The percentage, they're fixing it, they're working on it. And they're doing a pretty good job, it sounds like. I didn't write any of that down, I just remember that.
Yeah, because one thing that we mentioned that, you know, with all of these changes, this pandemic force, you also have to still meet SAC accreditation standards. So it's not just, you just turn a switch and everything go online, you know, but I mean, because we know from just trying to have this meeting online, that's challenging. So and if you're trying to do it with the maintaining the standards of an accreditation agency. So yeah. That was all from the chancellor's part. You want me to do a very high tidbits from the meeting itself? Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. The actual National Alumni Association meeting started a few minutes after 10 through virtual, through Zoom as well. Similar presentation as we went through the day with, they did mention that a lot of reports that we were seeing in the meeting yesterday were available online. I tried to look for them prior to getting on this meeting and I didn't see them. So they did indicate that like the committee reports and stuff will be available online. So maybe that's a process that's still in the making. Because the financial reports and all that stuff, because I didn't get an actual copy of that, so that they indicated that should be online. So again, I didn't see it. Megan Dat, who's the interim director of alumni engagements, she said her contract is ending too soon, so they're looking for a replacement for her. So she mentioned the DJ challenge that was held last weekend, and she gave a few statistics. I didn't write them all down, but she gave some statistics on the classes who had donated. The class of 1976 had 13 class members that donated. Class of 2007 had 14. Class of 1994 had 15. And class of 1984 had 13 actual donors. So I forgot what that actual number was, but they didn't mention the number, but I did see it on social media right after that event last weekend. So it was that event was a huge success. She also mentioned open house that will be Saturday, October 17th, but she said some portions will be video, and some portions will be live. So it will be a virtual open house. She mentioned an alumni engagement series, so I didn't write down all the details about that. She said that the virtual Founders Day will be September 28th, and the university will be 128 years old. So I did see some information about that on social media, but it will be virtual. Day of okay, they mentioned that the alumni directories that some of us have received inquiries from the company to provide update our information, that print had been delayed, I think to next year. So I'm gonna skip over to, we had the scholarship committee. We had two current students who are receiving scholarships were actually live on the virtual meeting, and they extended their thank yous to the National Alumni Association for those scholarships. And two students had submitted videos. And I know one student was from Charlotte, one from Greensboro. I didn't catch where the two that did the video were from. The Young Alumni Council gave a report, and the Young Alumni Councils for 2,000 graduates are after. And they're having a 40 under 40 event on April the 10th, 2021. The deadline to submit nominations is from 9/21 to 11/1. I did see the form online. They talked about some of the initiatives that they're working on as the Young Alumni Council. And the Young Alumni Council is under the Office of Alumni Engagement, so it is not part of the National Alumni Association. So Gordon Everett, who is corporate relations, he gave an update. He said previously that the National Alumni Association had an affinity program with Nationwide, and that had ended on June of this year. They're looking for other affinity programs. He mentioned like Lyft, and I imagine, and he talked about Amazon Smile, and we know that through Angela, there's the other option is with Horizon.
Stanley?
Yes.
Would you mention the computer lab?
I didn't write that
from Nationwide.
Okay, can you share the details on that, because I didn't write that down.
Well, I just wrote down a one-word blurb, and it had to do with Nationwide. They're not totally letting us go after the incentive.
They mentioned something about, that's the chance to mention something about Nationwide in the computer lab. I didn't write all the details. There's somebody else that would attend can add to that. So, but
it's going to be named the Nationwide
Yes.
Computer Lab. I think that's those. Yeah, those are the only notes. So they're.
This is Jay. I can fill in some more information about that. They Nationwide is donating $100,000 in scholarships.
Okay.
And they have branded one of the computer labs Nationwide Computer Lab. They hired 65 interns, and about 35% of them have been converted into full-time employment. That was it for Nationwide.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Like I've been talking forever. Let's see. The annual giving chair, Mitch Mitchell, he was new to me. I'm not sure if he's new to the association, but he's talking. He made mention of the National Alumni Association has less than. In order, we're working on an endowed scholarship, and it has to be 500,000, and we're less than $10,000 from meeting that goal, and they're trying to come up with a campaign so we can go ahead and reach that 10,000, reach that balance to get a total up to 500,000. Because when you get to 500,000, then you can start drawing from the interest and not test the principal. So, I expect we'll be receiving more information about that as time go on. Bylaws, as we mentioned earlier in our chapter meeting, that December 1st is a deadline to submit National Alumni Association bylaws, and the bylaws are online at WSSUNAA.org, and the form to submit revisions are also online as well. Finance, audit done, taxes filed by the due date. Membership, I didn't really write anything down about membership, but I just know the numbers are low from looking at the report for fiscal year, from July 1 to now. We have a lot of work to do because, and I guess typically a lot of people pay that national dues at homecoming, since that's not the case this year. So, and hopefully the membership committee, and I don't know, Kimberly Cheryl shared the information, but I don't know if she's going to be the new membership chair, the continuing membership chair, or it's going to be somebody that's taking a spot. That's the part I wasn't sure of. So, but right now, she said that if you have questions with your membership, then you can email membership with their NAA email address. Like if you didn't get a card or something like that, then you can email them. I know they have a membership database that they're working to try to clean up. So I know that's a work in progress. So.
And Stanley, I believe she said in regards to the cards and the stickers, they're waiting for them to come in.
Okay.
To mail them out.
Okay. All right. So okay, because I paid my dues and we can get into that.
Yeah, I didn't get a card last time, so.
Okay. The public relations gave a brief report, and they still I can't remember all who's on the committee, but I know they do a lot of stuff with social media now, and I think they try to work out some dynamics where as the information is sent to them, I think oftentimes, and we know that from stuff we've done, people want stuff put on social media, but they want the social media, the public relations committee to do all the work. They said, can you put this on it? But I gathered from what she was saying that when they receive it, they want it to be ready to be published, and not they have to do all the work and get it ready. So that's just, that was my interpretation of what they presented. Scholarship committee, they extended the deadline, and the application is online for anybody that's interested in applying for a scholarship from WSSU National Alumni Association. STAT gave a report, and they're working on some ways to engage the line of students with the alumni. Because I know there was some discussion at a previous meeting about how do we match up current students with alums who are maybe in the area they're trying to go into. So just to make those matches so that, so when the students graduate, they won't be the first time they're hearing something from the National Alumni Associations when they graduate. The university liaison, who is Myra Waddell, her presentation was very brief because a lot of the stuff she said she had was the chancellor had mentioned in his report. But somebody asked about the housing building and the physical plant, and she said that the university has to come up with 75% of the cost because the objective is to renovate the housing building and make that the fine arts, and the physical plant building make that, I mean, the housing building make that music, and the physical plant building, which used to be old shipping and receiving, make that fine art. So, but because we have some different priorities now, and that will be, that's considered part of the restore to core. So that's not the top of the requirement list now, because somebody asked, what are the priorities right now? And the priority number one right now for the university is COVID relief. And that is, I guess, provide funds to students who are impacted by the COVID pandemic. The second is student scholarships. And the third is resources for faculty engagement. And fourth, which is to restore the core, which would be to retrofit the buildings, house the building, the physical plant. And the fifth item is WSSU athletics. And also, there was the Hall of Distinction report that had 6 nominations, and they're recommending 4, I guess, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Hall of Distinction. Sean Bellamy, myself, George Jaggers III, and Don Moore. And the celebration will be in 2021. Okay.
Woo! Go, Stanley!
May 2021, Stanley? Would it be May?
I guess it'd be homecoming time 2021, because it's typically when it's held.
Well deserved.
Thank you, sir.
If we can, we would ask Stanley. I knew the report was going to be long, but I was waiting for him to get to this portion of the report. So y'all would please unmute yourselves and give Stanley a round of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go, Stanley. Go, Stanley.
Thank you very much.
To the individual that submitted his packet, we say thank you. We say thank you. We're very proud of you, Stanley. All of your hard work and everything that you've done, not only for the chapter level, but at the local, the national, just the nationwide level, and your commitment to the students at Winston-Salem State and to your fellow alum. We say thank you, kind sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Couple of more things that I'll be done.
Never done, never done.
We're done with this report. How about that?
It was short, Stan. It was a short report. And the Cowboys won, so you can talk.
That's funny.
That's why you saw me kept getting up.
The Cowboys won.
The media is more important, but when the Cowboys were stuck.
But Stanley and Takia, I got one question.
Yes.
Who is Clyde Cardell?
Okay, he's on the special events committee.
Yeah.
He's Mr. WSSU 2016.
No, it's earlier than that, because he was like some of the first ones. What? He was the first one.
He was the first Mr. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Kay asking something else. Kay, what do you really want to know?
What happened to the other team? What happened to the rest of them?
The rest of who?
You know, the rest of the special events team. They've been on the team for 450 years.
But Tanya Taylor Smith was on the call. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't. Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions. I don't know. I see we have about 18 minutes left.
Okay.
Should I wait? Because I don't know how detailed they're going to be. One is in regards to YAC and the impact on membership for local chapters. And then the other one is our membership dues. So should I wait, Renee, with my questions? Given the
well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and and ask your question. And then if we can't get them answered, we'll make sure that they're captured so that we can get the answer. And if it's something that we can shoot out via email, we'll have your question and then we can shoot the answer out so everybody can hear the answer. So,
Okay.
Diane, capturing this as well. What's the question?
And I'm almost embarrassed to ask because I should know this, but in regards to the membership dues on a national level, at least, does a portion of our dues individually, does a portion of that go towards the university, as far as maybe $5 goes towards the foundation? And the reason why I'm asking that is because going back to the chancellor's report, and that we're only given 7%. And I know what Stanley was saying earlier, whatever we give to national and they turn it over is just a big pot of money. And I thought about it last night, thinking about what we do on our sorority level, where a portion of our dues go towards a foundation. So I was just wondering, when we pay dues, could we take $5 or $10 or whatever and make that as a individual contribution to the university, where it would increase our giving number? It may not be the dollar amount, but at least those 115 that we currently have on the road, they would be counted as a giver to the foundation.
Okay, we will ask that.
I think that's an excellent question.
Not generating, that's a very good question, not generating additional funds, right? So a lot of your yearly member, you're gonna get that $55 that they pay, but your lifetime member, they're paid and done. So that's another portion of capture there. But I will definitely, I will send that and I will ask that question. I'll get that answer.
And that may be even something we can do on the local level. I mean, I know it's not a lot, but it's more than what we're doing. And just something, just a thought. And it doesn't take away, you still give outside of that. But I was just wondering if that would help with the numbers.
Okay.
And I can answer a portion of that, being on the finance committee. No.
No?
No.
Really?
And what I'm saying is there's no specific piece of your national dues that go directly to the foundation. What the national does, it gathers a money and then makes a donation every year to the foundation. So it's not, so that's why I was going back to what I said earlier. So if they took $5 or $10 for every membership due, then they would have to, well, let me back up. There's some nuances with philanthropy. I can't give to an agency, then that agency in turn give to another and I get credit for it. So it has to go directly to the agency. So the national can't collect it on my behalf and then give it to the university on my behalf. I have to give directly to the university. Now, it won't happen with the numbers, because when the university go out and say our alumni are only giving at 7%, but it really might be 15, because I'm giving to the national for all kinds of things. But if I'm not giving directly to the foundation, they can't count it as me giving.
So you can do like a pass through?
You
like
cannot.
we kind of do now with the local chapter, where
No,
we're just paying on behalf. Okay.
Yeah, we just paying.
Takeda, but this is Angela. Let me also say that Dr. Avalon is also working on that, because that's how they capture this, through her office. And that's what she's been asked in the nationals for, is when we give that he gives a record, like especially during homecoming, when everybody individually gives for the king or the queen, that money, those names and amount is given to the foundation, even if all the money isn't, but that information is not being passed on. So it looks like we're not giving, even though, like when you give for the king or queen, that $10, $20, whatever counts. but not towards the foundation. And that's what they're trying to figure out, how they can do that so that it can be captured. So I do know that on the opposite side, on the foundation side, they're trying to figure out how they can do that.
And I can speak a little bit to the way that the way alumni participation rates are calculated. They are always based off of your number of alumni donors divided by your number of alumni of record, which means that those people who you think are alive and that you have an address for. In regard to the way that alumni donors are calculated, those are donors that have to give directly to the university, that can't come through like any other kind of pass-through or any other situation such as that. So whenever you make a donation directly to the foundation, then that's when they capture it. If you make it through another entity, it will only go through as a donation from that legal entity, because that's the way that those calculations are, that's the way that those numbers are calculated.
Who was speaking a minute ago?
Oh, this is Dario.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, guys.
So that answers that one for you, Takita. What's your second question?
My second question is this young adult count, no, what is it called? Wait a
Young
minute.
Alumni
Young
Council.
alumni. Okay, I'm back at church. Wait a minute. Young Alumni Council. So when I listened to the report yesterday, and I'm like, okay, if you graduated in 2000, you're in your 40s now. So I guess what I'm trying to understand about the council, can you be a member in both, or is YAC considered more like a local chapter in a sense of, okay, I see a lot of heads shaking. So
my understanding with the Young Alumni Council, and correct me if I'm wrong, because there was a lot of conversation around them over the last year or so, is that anyone can join. Is that right, Stanley? They were not limited. Let me double check with Lydia, but my understanding was they
said
were
2000.
They were the under 40 group, but they were open, is the understanding that I got, because some people were saying, well, why can't we join? Because, you know, we feel like we're still part of the young group, even though we're 50, 60 or whatever. So let me double check with Takita, because with Lydia, because it's gone back and forth where I've heard, yes, it is an open type thing. And then I've heard some people say no. So let me verify with her.
But yesterday she said it was graduates from 2000 to the present.
Right. Yeah, that's what she said. That's what I wrote down.
Yes.
But you know what? I'm glad they're at the table.
Yeah.
Well, no.
It's taken a while to get them to the table.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against the council. I guess what I'm trying to understand, if their focus is graduates from 2000 to the present, then we're going to eventually fall off. And so at what point
do they
say, well, no, we got to move this marker, and now it needs to be, because we're 2020, so that's 20 years. So if a graduate from 2000, they're just focusing on YAC, when does is the local chapter being affected by the pool that they may have? And I wasn't sure if you could be a member of both, because they're two totally different entities, or at some point you roll over to your local chapter, or you can be involved in both and just pay membership in one. I wasn't sure.
You can be involved in both, because I know that there are some that are part of their local chapter, they're part of the young adult, the Young Alumni Council, and they're part of national. So they're in all three. They're going on all three levels. But there's
and they're
not
paying
a lot
dues for all three. I'm sure you don't have many then, because I'm sure you don't have many doing that.
Right. Right.
But glad to have them at the table though, because before they were not at the table at all, you know? So it was like activity over here. We're going like, why are you over there? Come over here, you know?
Yeah, Kay, I guess I'm just looking at the
I know,
numbers. How is that going to affect the local chapter's existence over a period of time if that the range is so large? Because we're talking about 20 years now. And
Yeah.
so come 10 more years, where will Raleigh-Wake be if you got this, you have YAC?
Well, you have YAC, you have band, you have the bunches of them out there.
Most of them that I Chiquita belong to their local chapter and the young alum. I have not seen their bylaws, so I don't know if that is part of their requirements, that in order to belong to us, you need to be affiliated with a local chapter. I'm not sure if that's what's in there, but I can ask that question. But the majority of them are local, and then they're with the young alumni. Now, it's where they're going over to the national is where some of the headache was coming from, because they weren't there. They were belonging to 2, but not 3. You get a few of them that would do all 3 across the board. So I'll see if I can get them to clarify how their membership rolls and where, because I get what you're saying, that with the support on the local chapter is what happens to the local chapters when folks start to drop off. So I'll find out what that is, and maybe we can get one of their representatives to come to one of our meetings and actually just answer our questions and just do a Q&A for us.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we run out of time, folks, because we're going to be, I think we only have about 6 minutes left. Let me remind you that your dues are, since we were on dues, your local dues are due. You can mail them in, you can do the PayPal, but our local dues are due. That is how I send out the documentation for the meetings with the financial reports and everything, is to making sure that all financial members have a copy of the financial report. So if you want to, you can come to the meeting, but we just want to make sure that everybody's dues are paid up so that we can keep you included and you're on all of the right lists and everything. So please get those in. Angela will take those. And there was something else, but I forgot. So Stanley, go. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna add a little about the YAC. It came about because they didn't have a place at the table, so they went outside and did their own thing. So that's how it started. So now at least we got them back in doing the presentation. So maybe we can pull them in, and they can still put emphasis on the young alumni, but be part of the national, because right now they're separate. And as Renee said, some of them I'm sure cross both, especially ones who are officers in their local chapter. Of course, they would have to cross both. But the last year when the 40 under 40 came to the national meeting, and I was like, why all these young folk in the national meeting? Because we hadn't seen them before, but it was the 40 under 40 awards banquet that night, and they all came to the meeting. And even some of my co-workers who work on the clinical side of healthcare were being represented there, and they're here in Raleigh. So that's just an FYI.
We have three nursing graduates that just graduated this past year. One with her master's in nursing, I think 2 with their master's in nursing, and 1 with the other. I have our honorary RAM, who is my husband, recruiting those 3 because they're actually nurses for him. So I am sending chapter information through him, and we'll send some more to this for in the morning to see if we can't get those nurses and those other RAMs at his facility to get on in. So we are doing some more recruitment for that under 40 age. These are some young nurses, and we're trying to get them pulled in. Does anybody, Takita, how much time we have left? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you got all the time you need, but as far as, but it's 2 minutes to 5.
Okay. So does anybody put along when it was our first one? Mr. Dixon was the at the end of the year celebration. He was our winner. Our grand prize was free membership in the local chapter for this upcoming year. And Mr. Dixon walked away with the grand prize at the end of the year party. If you missed it, we'll do another end of the year party at the end of this year. You never know what we might have. So please, 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 come on back in, get involved, and let's start making things happen. If you all don't have anything else, I would like to close the meeting at this point if there are no other announcements or concerns. Hearing none, read your alma mater, read the lyrics, and that's how we're going to close out the meeting. We shall not sing, but everybody's got to them. So just kind of hold them to yourself as we go on, because I think we decided at the last meeting we weren't going to sing on Zoom. With that being said, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a great day.
For everything, I will
Thanks
see
and
you
bye,
all.
everybody.
So good
Bye.
night, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.